Oh, I was born in Sun Valley, California, in Sierra Memorial, but I was raised in San Fernando, Pacoima mostly, and then I spent other time in Sun Valley. But the majority of my time, I've been all around the valley, but the majority of my youth was either in San Fernando or Pacoima. That's it.
Well, let's put it like this: when you were in elementary school, where did you live at?
Oh, I stayed in San Fernando. I've got kicked out of nearly every elementary I went to, from Pacoima Elementary to Old Melviny to like, man, I used to get I went to continuation before I even hit junior high school. So yeah, but the majority of the time is in Pacoima, like, and yeah, Pacoima is the majority of the time that I spend and still go there.
When you say Pacoima, whose neighborhood were you living in?
Oof. I grew up I lived in the Terrabillas, and that was before they got a hood called Lakeview Terrace, but the majority of the Pacoima Pirus are right there. Yeah. So I grew up mostly with the dudes from Pacoima Piru and then like the other Pacoima gangs. See, what a lot of people don't understand is there were Hispanic gangs right there that banged blood. There was only a few that didn't. You know what I mean? The other ones would claim it. Like, they'll say now, like, oh, nah, that's not true. But I can actually call out hoods that used to do it. Like, they end up catching one of my family members, a Crip from my family, for attempted murder on two of them because they said what's up blood to them, allegedly. You know, one paralyzed, the other one's blind, whatever. So, yeah.
When I was hitting Sylmar, all Pacoima Pirus and the Mexicans pretty much got along.
They did.
Was that the same situation when you was growing up
in
Pacoima?
When I grew up, there wasn't no issue. There was no racial issue. If you went to go put in work on 2Ps, the Pierce would be right there, or the Van Nuys boys. A lot of people say, nah, that's not true, but I know for a fact, because back in the days we didn't get along with too many Pacoima gangs.
So when did you move from Pacoima to Sunland Park?
Around 88, right before it turned 89.
Now explain to some of the people out there, because I was confused too, between Sunland Park and Sunland Valley. What's the difference?
Well, Sun Valley is a city. Sunland Park, they got a Sunland. The city of Sunland is different. That's Tahunga and all that. Sun Valley is a city. Sunland Park is a complex, like basically like a miniature projects. You know what I mean? Now it's surrounded by like condos and everything, but Sunland Park is just a hood. Sun Valley is a whole city, and in that city it's only us, Diablos, half of Radford, which some of them don't claim it now, and Violent. That's all it's pretty much been Violent City. Like, that's their shit. Like,
Vineland Boys are in Sunland Park.
No, they're everywhere. They're all through Sun Valley because they're the biggest hood right there. Like, the biggest hood right there.
So who's your number one enemy on the streets as far as gang wise?
Oh, when I was banging? Probably, I don't know. I would say Violent, but there's other hoods that I was like, that I used to beef with hard, but probably Violent was like one of our main rivals, because, I mean, they were the most one that you had to watch out for.
Were they the closest ones to you guys?
Whew, that Sun Valley is them. Like, we're there, but Sun Valley is Violent. Like, that's just, now it's like all the riders that was really putting in work, they're all either dead, busting in the feds, or like whatever. But like rivals, yeah, they were the main ones.
Late 80s, early 90s, what were some of the popular barrios around there?
Whew. You had North Hollywood Boys. North Hollywood Boys, they've been around for a long time. You had Radford. You had Elmer, but Elmer kind of died out. You had Burbank Elmwood. You had Westside Locals, like near Glendale. You had, but like the most active neighborhoods are like Westside Locals, Burbank Elmwood. On the east side, Pacoima, the Projects.
Project Boys.
Man, because a lot of them dudes moved kickboxing, so they were knocking through the fuck out. The Flats, they were knocking dudes out. Sonfed at one time was like kicking up a lot of dust. But yeah, mostly like Violent in them.
Well, that's crazy. You missed out one of the old ones I thought you would probably say in Sun Valley is that one gang. They strike up on the walls, SOL 13.
Oh, Soul?
Aren't they like the oldest ones out there?
They're old, but they're non-existent. Like, nobody even...
Are they the original Vario in Sun Valley?
Yeah. They had a Sun Valley Locals too, but Soul is probably like the oldest, well, is the oldest in Sun Valley. But a lot of them fools are either from Vineland now, like their youngers are from Vineland. But when it comes to Sun Valley, it was violent. Ain't no, it was violent.
So Sewell and Vineland Park, they never try to absorb you guys into them and make you guys a clique. There was never no approach.
Well, I mean, Vineland was one of those. They did try to absorb a lot of hoods. We didn't go with it straight out, and that's why we don't. That's one of the reasons why we don't get along with nobody in Sun Valley, because we ain't clicking with nobody. Just.
And what about Sewell? It was played out by the time you guys came on the scene, or what?
When my homie came with Vago Soul was just, they were still there, but it's a difference. Like when I grew up, it was at a time where walking down the street was like really dangerous. Like it was just really dangerous. And Soul they were non-existent by then. They like, nobody worries about their hood. Like I've ran into fools from there, but nobody worries about them. If you're in Sun Valley, if you beef for violent, that was who you needed to worry about, because they were coming.
So what's the main high school in your hood, in your area?
Poly.
And who attends that school?
Oh, that's violent right there. That was their spot. You had other hoods like Boys from the Hood. You had Renemy used to go there, and then like whoever else felt brave. But if you're an enemy, you didn't want to go to that school. My homeboys went there when we got along with them, but once we didn't get along with them, we just start spreading out to other schools like Verdugo and stuff like that. But yeah.
So as far as the LA transplants that actually moved to the valley and set up hoods like Northside 18, Northside Clanton.
Yeah.
What's their reputation out there back then, and what is it now?
Who the 18s, man.
The Northsides.
I know a gang of them fools. The Northside 18s, man, were so infamous at them times. Them, MS. MS was probably like one of the worst outside of 18. And then you had Clanton. But yeah, mostly like on that, the Northsides were like with the business. Like with the business. They didn't know to take fools' whole hoods. Like, that's why I've always got along with them fools. I've always got along with Clantons. Like, I've always been good with them. They never really tripped, you know.
Yeah, how did the native barrios of the valley take to these LA transplants setting up in their territories?
I mean, they can try to combat it, but I mean, it's Northside 18 is deep as hell. Like, they just deep. You have Playboys, you have all them out there, though.
Didn't Venice Shoreline try to set up there?
They got streets where Venice Shoreline is at, though. Like, them, the not main streets, but I'm thinking of the Melos. They were out there. They tried to go to Sun Valley, and violence showed them no love at all. Like, they laying fools out. But you got other hoods out there that's been on the Venice Shoreline, has been in the valley for a long time.
Front streets too.
Oh, the East Coast. I got nephews from East Coast, like banging hard on it. Like, you catch some fools on the internet, I'll be like, man, slow down, you know?
All first streets?
Yeah, all first streets. I got family from Hoover. I got family, man, from all over.
When I was young, the front streets had a presence in the valley.
Yeah, they still do. Green Eyes and all that. Well, yeah, they still do. It just depends on where you catch them at. But they got other hoods like Gray Flag and Liggets. You know, they got hoods like that out there that came up. Wissets. I used to know all the Wissets, and then before they became Crips.
Also, you pay back and that whole little crew.
Yeah, and I remember back in the days it was Kirk, Too Sweet, like Mudbone, like all them fools from Wisset, but Too Sweet and them ended up getting killed by the cops, which was crazy because I was on Devonshire when I seen them cops like flying by. It's the SSU or whatever, and they ended up getting killed by them that night.
You know, in LA, basically gang territory is basically each hood is blocked off by main streets, or their hood runs up until another hood comes into play.
Yeah.
But in the valley, I'm confused because you guys are really not blocked off by main streets.
Nope.
There's a lot of gaps in between. So can you give us a rough border territory of Sunland Park gang?
Sunland Park, I say, is from anywhere from the Tuna Canyon, Sunland Boulevard, back. Some people like to say Penrose, but that's it. It should have been Glen Oaks and Sunland Boulevard back, going up towards Sunland. That should have been us. But that all through Penrose, and that's all. Violent is has been so deep in that city that it's like you can't really, you know, we already had an understanding on exactly what part is theirs and what part is ours. Like it like literally vocalized anything from here back is us. You can have that. Anything from this point taken is war. Like, so we already have that established. But Sun Valley outside of us is them. It's just, there's no other hoods in Sun Valley like that can really just claim it. They'll say like other hoods like GB and all that, but it's, if you ain't from Vineland or my neighborhood or Diablos, but Vineland, that's their shit right there.
Yeah, they hit the newspapers a few times.
They're fucking thick.
Yeah.
That's why like when fools like you'll see little fools they'll wolf, but I'll be like, come on, dude. Like I was out there and it didn't do nothing to me. So, and that's when all their riders are like you couldn't go nowhere. You pull up to a store, you're gonna run into these fools. So now it's like I don't even trip on none of them fools, but like yeah, with them you don't never know where they're gonna pop up. That's just how freaking deep they are.
So when I was coming up, bro, it really wasn't an issue with a black being from a Mexican gang, Mexican being from a Crip or Blood gang. It wasn't no issue. So when did you become aware that that was an issue?
You know, it's crazy. Like when I was in juvenile hall, I remember I ran into a homie from Culver City, black dude, and he was like, "Hey, you know, these dudes call me a sellout." And I used to hear that, and I used to always have to fight for that. But it's just one of those things. It's like it's a hood thing. You have to run it. And he said, "Like, what should I do?" He was young like me. Like, I'm like, dude, you gotta get off. Like, as soon as he say it, bust him in his mouth. Because if you don't, it's gonna follow you, and they're gonna continue to disrespect you. I was like, you just don't have to be. You don't have to be extras. Just be you. And after that, he turned up. He ended up getting hurt. I think in Solid that they almost killed him though in a riot. But I mean, that's how it goes sometimes.
What years did you first start going to juvenile hall? What years was that?
Shit, I've been going to juvenile hall since '88. Like I've been going since like 10 and up. Like the first time I went to juvenile hall, I think it was for like writing on the wall. I was like claiming my neighborhood, and I ended up tagging it on the wall, and ended up going to juvenile hall for that. And then after that, I was consistent in that motherfucker. Like every summer week, I was doing some type of Ricardo in time. I did all the Ricardo in time from Lather Paul to yeah. I used to be in Central. I used to tell my mom to house me in Central, and people used to be like, "Oh, you ain't got no enemies over here." I'm like, "Shit, that maybe not the Valley enemies, but I had a lot of LA enemies right there."
Explain to the audience the difference between gangbanging and racial issues from juvenile hall compared to the county jail. What's the difference on handling issues?
The difference I see is in juvenile hall, everything is knuckles. There weren't no knife play or nothing. So if you really had an issue with somebody, you get out for yours, and you couldn't. And it was no thing like, "Oh, I'm gonna call 20 homies," or "I'm gonna call 20 Crips or 20 Bloods." It's like you just gonna get out for yours, and that's plain and simple, whether it was racial or non-racial. Now in the county jail, it was just one of those things that it get drastic. You know what I mean? It's like people are more cautious on what they do, because the ramification behind even a little disrespect, people lose their life. That's why motherfuckers move a lot different. It's never like I tell cats all the time, we didn't win every war. It's always like it can go back and forth. You might win 2 wars and lose like 4 of them. It's one of those. You can never get too comfortable on. It don't matter if you got 30 fools against 10. We did not win every war, and a lot of people like to fantasize about that shit and think it's all sweet, but that shit get drastic.